Okay, so this is a map of the United States, and today we're going to talk about the 26 states whose names derive from indigenous language. Alabama actually comes from a river, which settlers named after the Alabama, a word that comes from Creek Indians. Alaska comes from an Eskimo word, which either means peninsula or great land. Arizona's origins aren't as distinct. It could come from the Aztec word Arizuma, which means silver bearing. It also can come from a local tribe, which stands for land of small springs. Though Arkansas is probably an Algonquin name, it also could be French for the Sioux pronunciation of Kansas, hence why it's Arkansas, not Arkansas. The French pronunciation is actually from the Sioux, meaning Southwind people. Connecticut's origins go back to Native American words meaning river with high tides or long river. Hawaii likely just means homeland in its native language. Like most native origins, Idaho's state origins are a little bit uncertain, though it could come from the Shoshone tribe Idaho, spelled a little bit different, meaning light on the mountains. Illinois comes from the Illini word meaning men or warriors. The OIS at the end actually comes from the French pronunciation of this. Iowa comes from a native word meaning sleepy or drowsy ones, actually implying the river in the area, but the name stuck as the state. Kansas comes from the Kansas or Kansa tribe of the Sioux Indians, meaning Southwind people. It's very similar to Arkansas, which again is the French pronunciation of Kansas. Pioneer George Rogers Clark claims Kentucky meant the Meadowland, though there is another claim saying that it's the Shawnee word for head of the river. Massachusetts is from an Algonquin word meaning big hill, small place, likely referring to the view of Boston by the bay. Michigan comes from an Algonquin word meaning big lake or great waters. Minnesota derives from the Sioux word meaning cloudy water. Mississippi translates into gathering in all the waters or father of the waters, implying that even the natives knew the length of the Mississippi River. Missouri was named after the river, which is native for muddy water. Nebraska comes from the Sioux word meaning shallow water or broad water, referring to probably the Platte River. Both North and South Dakota have their origins stem back to the Sioux tribe, which means allies. Ohio comes from the Iroquois word meaning beautiful river. Oklahoma comes from the Choctaw word meaning red people. Utah comes from the Ute Indians that lived there, though the origin of the word is unknown. The name Wisconsin is native for wild rushing channel, as best as we know. And lastly, Wyoming in its native language means extensive plains. So, hopefully you learned a little bit. Per always, love you all.